This video was brought to you by Nebula. Today, Trump lays out his plans for Trump's economic renaissance. French President Emmanuel Macron appoints a new Prime Minister, and the UN reports that war crimes are being committed in Sudan. From TLDR News, this is your daily briefing for Friday the 6th of September, 2024. Speaking yesterday at the New York Economic Club, an elite forum for finance titans, presidential candidate Donald Trump laid out his economic vision for the country and promised to lead what he called a national economic renaissance. In his speech, he laid out his plans for lowering corporate taxes from 21 to 15% for American manufacturers, and to open federal land for low-tax, low-regulation home building to reduce housing costs, although he didn't provide more details there. He also proposed creating a sovereign wealth fund for infrastructure projects and rescinding unspent funds from the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act. Trump also suggested banning mortgages for undocumented migrants in California, asserting without evidence that they increase housing costs. But again, he didn't specify how this would be enforced. The presidential candidate also didn't refrain from emphasizing the power of tariffs to address seemingly every unrelated social challenge facing the country. For instance, when he was asked about driving down childcare costs to help keep women in the workforce, Trump suggested the solution was increasing tariffs on foreign imports, arguing that the trillions of dollars the US would collect could easily take care of such problems. In the past, Trump has also promoted tariffs on foreign imports to win over working-class voters, who have opposed the outsourcing of factories and jobs. However, his grand plan on using trillions of dollars collected from tariffs to support his plans without raising prices for consumers now seems slightly implausible. Trump has also proposed a government efficiency commission, which he said would be headed by Elon Musk. Previously, Republican President Ronald Reagan established a similar body in the 1980s called the Grace Commission. Now, Trump didn't go into too much detail about how the commission would operate, besides stating it would develop a comprehensive financial and performance audit of the federal government and create a plan to eliminate fraud and improper payments within 6 months of its formation. Musk mentioned in late August that he'd had conversations with Trump regarding the commission and expressed interest in serving. In relation to this potential position, Musk wrote on X yesterday, "I look forward to serving America if the opportunity arises. No pay, no title, no recognition is needed." However, Trump has received criticism for this proposal from America's civil servants. The Federation of Government Employees, a union representing about 750,000 federal workers, accused Trump of wanting to hollow out the non-partisan civil service and replace it with his powerful allies. All in all, this speech was certainly contentious and contained a number of wild ideas, but let us know what you think in the comments. Also, for more US election coverage, you should check out our new Nebula original series, WTF USA. The link is in the description, and we'll show you the trailer at the end of this video, so make sure you stick around. Next up, after a prolonged period of political uncertainty in France, President Emmanuel Macron has finally appointed a new Prime Minister, right-wing politician Michel Barnier. Now, Barnier is perhaps best known as the EU's former chief Brexit negotiator, though he has had a long political career before that. At age 73, though, he becomes the oldest French Prime Minister since the Fifth Republic was established in 1958. A stark contrast to the outgoing Prime Minister, Gabriel Attal, who was the youngest, at just 35. Anyway, French Prime Ministers, having been appointed by the President, can only survive if they have the support of the National Assembly. Now, Barnier will have the support of Macron's centrist alliance and his own right-wing Republican Party. But together, these groups are far from a majority, so he'll also need the tacit support of another bloc to survive. That tacit support looks set to come from Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally, who haven't said they'll support him, but have said that they won't immediately censure Barnier, like they would have done with other potential PMs, and will instead wait and hear his general policy speech, keeping a close eye on what he has to say about immigration, insecurity, purchasing power, and voting method reform. As such, this gives the National Rally considerable leverage, as they can waive the threat of a no-confidence vote over Barnier's government to try and extract concessions. This has unsurprisingly provoked a furious reaction from the French left, who actually came first in the legislative elections, but fell far short of a majority. Now, Macron justified his appointment of Barnier by saying he'd constructed an unprecedented cycle of consultations and made sure that the Prime Minister and its government will have the most stable possible conditions. Regardless, for more on this story, make sure you check out tomorrow's video over on the TLDR EU channel, where we'll go into much more detail. So head over to TLDR EU right now, subscribe, and there'll be a video waiting for you in the morning. Moving to Sudan now, where the UN has stated that both sides in the ongoing civil war may have committed abuses that could amount to war crimes. A new report from the international organization has claimed that both Sudan's army and the paramilitary rapid support forces have attacked civilians, used torture, and made arbitrary arrests. The report was based on 182 interviews with survivors, their relatives, and witnesses. The UN also went on to claim that there were reasonable grounds to believe that the RSF and its allied militias had also committed crimes such as sexual slavery and the recruitment of child soldiers in the conflict. The UN team has suggested that they have tried to contact the Sudanese authorities on a number of occasions, but received no reply. As a result of these findings, the UN has called for an expansion of an arms embargo, which right now only applies to the western region of Darfur. Back to Europe now, where imports of Russian gas have surpassed those from the US for the second quarter of this year, highlighting the EU's ongoing reliance on Russian gas amid efforts to diversify energy supplies. Now, Russia was once Europe's largest gas supplier, supplying gas to the EU through pipelines, primarily through Nord Stream and Turk Stream. However, following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Norway took the top spot, followed by the US, which ramped up liquefied natural gas, or LNG deliveries, to assist the EU. However, in Q2 of this year, EU countries imported 22.3 billion cubic meters of Russian gas, a notable increase compared to the 17.2 billion cubic meters imported from the US. In fact, the EU's imports of American LNG have dropped 25% since 2022. Experts have noted that the shift is largely driven by a decrease in American LNG imports over the last few months. Now, a combination of full gas storage, EU facilities are on average 92.4% full, and low summer demand has led to lower spot purchases of American gas. While there have been calls for some EU member states to impose an EU-wide ban on Russian gas, this latest data suggests that that move would be realistically pretty unattainable. Finally, a new DNA testing method developed by researchers at the University of Toronto uses digital microfluids to significantly speed up the processing and analysis of DNA in sexual assault cases. This innovative technology reduces the time required for forensic analysis to as little as 45 minutes, streamlining a previously lengthy process. The aim is to alleviate backlogs in rape kit testing and improve the speed at which justice is served. However, further research is necessary before implementation in real-world labs and hospitals, but it's certainly a hopeful sign. But that's all from the Daily Briefing this week. But if you want more from TLDR, then check out this trailer. Look, as British people, we often cast a wary eye at our friends across the Atlantic. But honestly, the last few months have been especially wild. We've seen Biden bail from the race after a terrible debate,
my fellow Americans,
the red-blue divide making way for lurid green, Trump accusing Kamala of changing her race, Vance getting accused of couches, endless memes about coconut trees, and endless arguments over crowd sizes.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes.
Obama making a joke, Trump talking about Biden like an ex he misses, RFK Jr. potentially having worms in his brain, before admitting to burying a bear in Central Park. Oh, and an assassination attempt that we all kind of forgot about because of all of the other chaos. I mean, honestly, WTF USA. The thing is though, while it might be tempting to just roll your eyes at these shenanigans, these aren't just meme-worthy moments.
And you know I'm serious, because I've not stood up in a video since COVID. But these incidents actually pose important questions, like how much does the Gen Z vote matter this time round? How important will online campaigning and social media prove to be? What impact do running mates have? Okay, I don't have words for that one.
These are the kinds of things we'll be explaining in our new Nebula original series, What to Follow USA, only on Nebula. Each week, we'll take the moments that have been dominating internet discourse and explaining the true politics under the hood. Look at me pandering to the American audience. We'll be releasing new episodes of What to Follow every Friday through to the election. The fact that it's on Nebula means we've been able to take more risks with this series. The tone and attitude of the show isn't what you'd expect from TLDR. I'm not sure we've talked about fucking couches on YouTube before, but the journalism and reporting is exactly the standard you'd expect. Nebula support also means that we can do things differently, create additional content for you, and tackle topics that the YouTube algorithm just wouldn't normally allow for. It's not just this new series on Nebula either though. There's also incredible originals on the platform like Modern Conflicts from Real Life Law, or the upcoming documentary from Tom Nicholas, Boomers, which takes a provocative look at the lives and legacy of the baby boom generation. Plus, we also post all of our normal content on Nebula ad-free, and often before it ends up on YouTube. If you want to check all of that out, plus WTF USA, then head to go.nebula.tv/WTF, or click the link in the description. That way, you can pick up an annual Nebula subscription for a huge 40% off. We're really happy with how this new series has turned out, so please do give the series a look. We'd really appreciate it.